Daily Show last night. But this morning, the markets have opened with major losses after news that China has announced retaliatory tariffs on 34% on all U.S. goods, set to kick in next week on April 10th. Just moments ago, President Trump, he's busy on Truth Social this morning. He just posted there in all caps, writing, "China played it wrong. They panicked. The one thing they cannot afford to do." Joining us now, NBC News senior business analyst and host of the 11th Hour, our friend Stephanie Ruhle. Steph, so much to get to, but let's just start there with the China piece of this. To repeat, about 2 hours back, they announced their retaliatory tariffs, 34%. Now we have President Trump weighing in, claiming that they played it wrong. What do you think?
Played it wrong in all caps. This is not a game. Nobody wins in a trade war. And this is sort of this thing that the president likes to say, I don't like what China's doing. Nobody's winning. And the president's lack of understanding with how trade works. What have we seen in the last 2 months? We've seen our allies like South Korea and Japan start to move closer to China in trading agreements, and the United States further away. What's stunning to me, in the last 48 hours, I have reached out to so many people in the Trump universe, business people who have supported President Trump. And Jonathan, I cannot find one single investor with one single argument that makes sense for these tariffs. All I'm getting is, well, this is what the president thinks. This is what he's always wanted to do. And because he's the president, let's give him some time. There is no rational argument that any credible economist has given why this works. The argument is that they're trying to reshuffle world order, that we should change how consumerism works here. The United States is not a country that's focused on long-termism. Remember when the Biden administration tried to say that inflation was transitory, i.e. short-term, and nobody was having it because they're saying, I can't afford my rent, I can't afford eggs, I can't afford bacon. Well, now here we have an administration, a Treasury Secretary saying, cool your jets. We're going to have short-term pain for long-term solutions, and not one person has laid out a long-term solution for us.
Boy, it's so important that you bring up the fact that the Biden administration was late on figuring out just how dangerous inflation would be to working Americans. And again, said it was transitory. It ended up not being transitory. But Steph, it's very interesting. You bring up the Treasury Secretary, who, again, a couple of weeks ago said, cheap goods, affordable goods, not a God-given right for American consumers. And then saying yesterday, well, other countries shouldn't push back against these high tariffs. They're just going to do that. And we showed some clips of Scott Bessent. He looked very uncomfortable, and I suspect it's because neither he nor many of the people who are advising the president, and certainly not those on Wall Street supporting him, actually agree with the president on tariffs. I mean, Donald Trump stands almost completely alone in believing that he can reorder 45 years of globalism.
Bingo, Joe. My sources say that Scott Bessent is kind of the odd man out here. And in the inner circle that Trump has, he's not even close to Scott Bessent or listening to him. Some have said to me he's looking for an exit door to try to get himself to the Fed, because in the last few days, he's really hurting his own credibility and history in the markets. Those who have said this man actually understands how the markets work, and what's happening right now is only going to hurt markets. And even for Scott Bessent to say a few weeks ago, getting cheap goods fast is not part of the American dream. No, it's not part of the American dream, but it's part of the way Americans live, especially people who are economically vulnerable. They don't have the option to say, nope, I like higher things that cost more. They need low-cost things because they don't make that much money.